Tonight on NewsWatch, responding to the regime, how leaders around the world are preparing for action in Syria.
Plus, the sentence has been handed down, but the court battle is not over. Why some are suing the U.S. government over the Fort Hood shooting. And learning about life outside of the classroom, the program that has high school grads taking a year off before college. All this and more tonight on NewsWatch. How and when will the world respond to the situation in Syria? Good evening, I'm Heather Sells. And I'm Mark Martin. Those are just some of the questions being asked tonight. Another, would a military strike be legal under United Nations law? British Prime Minister David Cameron says yes. He told Parliament today the situation in Syria warrants a strike even without the green light from the UN Security Council, but said he will wait for UN officials to finish their investigation.
We must ensure that any action, if it is to be taken, is proportionate, legal and specifically designed to deter the use of chemical weapons.
The Obama administration, meanwhile, says it has not yet made a decision on how to act in Syria. Tonight, the president will brief lawmakers on the options. That comes after many in Congress complained Mr. Obama has not done enough to keep them informed as to any military plans.
Americans are largely against the U.S. intervening in Syria. That is according to a new HuffPost YouGov poll. 25% of those polled support an airstrike to aid Syrian rebels, but 41% are opposed. Another 34% say they are not sure. 59% say they believe Syria used chemical weapons, but they are divided on whether it's America's job to stop the Syrian government from using such weapons again. Now, 31% say it is America's responsibility. 38% say it is not. Although most Americans are against it, Israel is preparing for a worst-case scenario following a possible U.S. attack on Syria.
It could bring retaliation on the Jewish state from Syria's rogue regime. Our Middle East Bureau Chief Chris Mitchell has that story.
The Israeli army stepped up its alert level this week, deploying air defenses around the country and calling up a limited number of reservists. Israeli civilians are also flocking to get their gas masks. This is one of the many gas mask distribution centers throughout Israel. We've just been told it's about a 3 or 4 hour wait to get your gas mask here. Many Israelis feel that if Bashar Assad doesn't mind using chemical weapons against his own people, then he won't mind killing Israelis. But despite tension and the rush on gas masks, most Israelis are staying calm.
It's scary, kind of worrying. We're very close by, and I hope things sort out peacefully.
I've lived here 43 years. I would imagine that I would be stupid not to be concerned. Afraid? Well, no.
You know, we are a very small country. Israel is very small, but the God take care of Israel.
Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu urged Israelis to maintain their daily routines, but warned that Israel is ready for action. We are prepared for any scenario. The IDF is ready to defend against any threat and to respond strongly against any attempt to harm Israeli citizens. Despite the warning, most analysts believe chances are low that Israel will get dragged into a war with Syria.
It all depends on the nature of the strike. If it's basically a punitive measure, nothing will happen. If it goes after decapitating the regime, anything could happen.
Middle East expert Michael Wydlansky says Assad is afraid of Israel's retaliation.
The Syrians know that the Israelis mean business, and they'll try to stay away from Israel unless they're being suicidal or unless they realize that they're going down.
Still, he says, this is the Middle East, and anything could happen. Chris Mitchell, CBN News, Jerusalem.
Egypt's weakened Muslim Brotherhood is calling out for nationwide protests on Friday. It's the latest attempt to pressure the reinstatement of ousted President Mohamed Morsi. A top Brotherhood official is urging people to rise against what he called a failed, bloody military regime. The government is on high alert and says it is ready to deal firmly with any attempts to attack governmental or religious institutions. Last Friday, the Brotherhood also called for protests with a disappointing turnout.
Secretary of State John Kerry is asking the government of Iran to release 3 U.S. citizens. One of them is Pastor Saeed Abedini. Pastor Abedini is a dual U.S.-Iranian citizen. In a statement Wednesday, Kerry pointed out that Abedini has spent almost 1 year in prison in Iran, quote, sentenced on charges related to his religious beliefs. In his letter, Kerry appealed to Iran's new leader, saying President Rouhani has expressed interest in improving Iran's relations with the U.S.
The man behind the brutal massacre at Fort Hood has been sentenced to death, but some people question if the government could have stopped the attack before it even happened. Now, Major Nidal Hassan's case faces years, maybe even decades of appeals. Charlene Israel reports.
It's a sentence 4 years in the making.
This has been a very long and exhausting process. We are tired, we are hurt, but we are resolved. Justice has been served.
The same jury that convicted Major Nidal Hassan on 13 counts of premeditated murder chose the death penalty Wednesday over life in prison without parole. Many worried that a death sentence was exactly what Hassan wanted in his quest for martyrdom. Only weeks ago, his standby defense team asked to be relieved because they felt Hassan was seeking a guilty verdict. But victims say it's a sentence they'll accept.
It was a concern of some, but I am just fine with that now because it will take a very long time for him to be executed, and it is a much stiffer punishment than life without parole.
They say it's a sentence that fits the heinousness of the crime. Among those killed, a pregnant mother who pleaded for her unborn child before Hassan killed her. Now that this phase of the victim's quest for justice is over, many are turning their attention to another issue, a civil case against the government. They say the attack should be reclassified as combat-related instead of workplace violence to make victims eligible for more medical benefits, and to recognize those who fought back with military decorations. During his trial, Hassan stated that he attacked the unarmed soldiers in order to protect Muslim insurgents in Iraq and Afghanistan.
Anyone who would use their religion to commit acts of terrorism serves no God except their own hatred and self-interest.
The suit also slams the FBI. The left-wing magazine Mother Jones recently reported on FBI emails that show Hassan was on the Bureau's radar nearly a year before the Fort Hood massacre. They intercepted several emails between Hassan and Anwar al-Awlaki, a radical Islamic cleric with ties to 9/11.
He was radicalized, and I think a lot of those red flags were ignored. So, in this era of extremist Islamist behavior, we have to take note of people that are making contact with those that are practicing that type of behavior.
The FBI decided against interviewing Hassan or his superiors because they didn't want their investigation into al-Awlaki to harm Hassan's career. One agent described the case as politically sensitive. Charlene Israel, CBN News.
In Pennsylvania, the governor has filed a lawsuit to block same-sex marriage licenses from being issued in Montgomery County. A county clerk there has given out more than 150 marriage licenses to gay couples since July. State's attorneys say those licenses are not valid because state law defines marriage as between a man and a woman. The clerk is scheduled to appear in court next week. A ruling against him could invalidate those licenses. And California's Ninth Circuit Court has upheld a new law banning change therapy. The therapy is used to help those with unwanted same-sex attraction. The law was supposed to take effect at the beginning of the year, but it's been on hold pending an upper court ruling. That came today when the Ninth Circuit ruled the ban does not violate therapists' free speech rights. Liberty Counsel says it may file a petition with the Supreme Court. New Jersey Governor Chris Christie signed a similar measure last week.
Firefighters are making progress against the rim fire near Yosemite National Park. It's currently 30% contained. Officials credit cooler temperatures, higher humidity, and lighter winds with helping crews fight the blaze. Firefighters are also using fire to fight the massive wildfire. It's called a backfire.
They've used it as a burnout operation, and the goal of that is to remove fuels ahead of the fire as it comes.
The rim fire is the 6th largest wildfire in California history. Officials expect to have it fully contained within the next 2 weeks.
Coming up, a look at the rise of heroin addiction in America's suburbs.
Hello? Is this thing on? Hey, kids, do you love games? And do you love discovering things? Well, do ya?
Then you're gonna love this. It's the new free Superbook Kids Bible app. You can play games, watch videos, find answers to your questions, and a whole lot more. The new Superbook Kids Bible app. Free downloads available on iTunes now.
In 2008, my husband Gary departed for heaven. I was still grieving. And then to find out I had cancer, I began praying, God, how do I do this? Where do I do this? Cancer Treatment Centers of America was the place. Dr. Neelam outlined a plan that would take care of my mind and my body, and she prayed with me.
For Bible-believing Christians, we're able to pray with them in a much deeper way as they begin to really rely upon their faith.
At Cancer Treatment Centers of America, we believe in the power of faith and prayer as indispensable allies in the fight against complex and advanced stage cancer.
I'm back in Telluride on the mountain skiing. I feel strong and healthy.
Advanced medicine and technology.
And I am a survivor.
The warm embrace of the Spirit and the power of prayer.
These are happy tears.
Please go to cancercenter.com/faith. Appointments available now. Cancer Treatment Centers of America. Care that never quits.
Jim is 38, mortgage, married, 3 great kids. He wants to protect his family with a $500,000 term life insurance policy. What do you think it'll cost him? $100 a month? 60? 40? Actually, none of the above. Jim can get a $500,000 policy from a highly rated insurer for under $19 a month. His secret? SelectQuote. SelectQuote is impartial. They'll comparison shop the pick of insurance companies like these to give you a choice of your best prices. SelectQuote has great savings on term life for women, too. Jim's wife, Deidre, can get a $500,000 policy for under $16 a month. SelectQuote has helped make term life insurance affordable for hundreds of thousands of people since 1985. How about you? Just call this number or go to SelectQuote.com. SelectQuote. We shop, you save.
The federal government says it will not stand in the way of recreational marijuana use in Colorado and Washington. The 2 states have legalized it, and the Obama administration said today it will not sue to stop that. The announcement comes after comments by President Obama in December. He said it does not make sense for the federal government to go after recreational drug users in a state that has legalized small amounts of pot. Heroin use is on the rise in a place you might not expect.
The drug is popping up at high school parties in the suburbs. Lori Johnson tells us why its popularity is directly related to the increase in prescription drug abuse.
Millions of American adults and teenagers are addicted to the prescription painkillers Vicodin and OxyContin, so much so that they'll do anything to get them, even kill. But finding the drugs and paying for them is harder and harder. Sometimes just one pill sells for $80. So addicts, like this woman, often switch to the painkiller's cousin, heroin, because it's easier to find, cheaper, and packs a bigger punch than painkillers.
If you hear about something that's like that, only 100 times stronger, I can definitely see the appeal.
But the appeal fades quickly. Soon it takes more of the drug to get the same high, that feeling that becomes the only thing in life that matters.
It's horrible. It's horrible because you don't want to do it anymore, but you just don't really have any choice.
Rehab centers report a rise in heroin abusers, especially ones from middle-class homes, because heroin has become more available in places you'd never expect.
It's cheaper for kids. I mean, because that's the question you ask. Why did you start with heavier drugs than alcohol? And most of them tell you it's easier to get than alcohol.
Therapist Linda Mintle says there's only one way to break the bondage of heroin addiction.
This is not about willpower. You cannot will yourself off of this type of biological pull that is in the brain. So you really need to have something bigger than yourself, and the transcendent power of God, the relationship with Christ, who is in you, who can help you, who can strengthen you to do all things, is absolutely necessary in any addiction treatment.
Mindel says people can die from a heroin overdose the very first time they use it. She recommends parents talk to their kids about the dangers of heroin and intervene if they see changes in their child's personality, weight, friends, or schoolwork. Lori Johnson, CBN News.
Yeah, parents need to pay close attention. Well, nearly 9 million U.S. adults use sleep medication to help them get some rest. That's according to a new report from the Centers for Disease Control. 8.6% of American adults turn to drugs like Ambien or Lunesta to help with sleep. The CDC says the use of such pills is highest among older people, especially women. This new report is the first government study to look at the use of sleep aids. It comes as the Food and Drug Administration has been taking measures to reduce doses of some medications because of their lingering effects.
Up next, putting off school to pour into people. A look at why some teens are taking a gap year.
Attention sleep apnea patients. Are you tired of the expense and hassle of getting your CPAP and BiPAP supplies? Are you fed up with dealing with ill-fitting, leaking, or worn-out masks and straps? Are you worried about the effects that unsanitary tubes, cushions, and filters have on your health? If you said yes to any of these questions, Allied Medical Supply Network has the solution to your problems. You could qualify to have your supplies regularly delivered right to your door at little or no cost to you. That's right, no more inconvenience, no worn-out masks and straps, no more unsanitary equipment, just restful sleep. Call Allied Medical Supply Network today to determine if you may qualify to receive your fresh, brand-name supplies at little or no cost. Don't delay. Call us now to see if you are eligible to save money on regular delivery of your CPAP and BiPAP supplies. Call 1-800-815-9947. That's 1-800-815-9947. Or go to cpapsupplyhelpline.com.
Announcing an important breakthrough in healthcare that can benefit everyone. If you or anyone you love needs affordable health insurance, regardless of a pre-existing medical condition, call Quick Insurance 123 today and get the immediate relief you deserve. Quick Insurance 123 was created to provide affordable health insurance to all uninsured Americans, with or without pre-existing conditions. This is not a discount card. This is a real insurance program that lets you choose from many affordable health plans, with access to doctors, hospitals, emergency services, and more. So call the number on your screen now and get the health coverage you need just for calling. As a special bonus, we'll send you a free prescription savings card that could save you up to 85% on your prescriptions. That's right, you could save up to 85% on your prescriptions just for calling. Call Quick Insurance 123 to find out how you can get affordable health insurance and receive your free prescription savings card just for calling. Don't wait. Getting a free quote is as easy as 1, 2, 3. Call today.
Well, many high school graduates head straight to college, but a growing number are doing something different. They are taking a year off.
Yeah, it's called a gap year, and as George Thomas tells us in tonight's Focus Report, some of America's top universities are supporting it.
When all of a sudden,
this is the story of three 19-year-olds
these afflictions eclipsed by glory,
who decided to live for almost a year outside their comfort zones. Lainey Douglas is from Amarillo, Texas.
God totally broke down every part of me, every inch of me.
Dear Jesus, I just thank you so much for this day. Thank you so much for the way that you've provided for us throughout this trip, God.
Kristen Hendricks is from Norman, Oklahoma.
I have grown up in a Christian home and in a Christian school to where that's all I've been surrounded with, so I wasn't able to ever truly make my faith my own.
And Kara Crenshaw is from Jackson, Tennessee.
After high school, I was just kind of like tired of being in a classroom. You know, you're in a classroom for 13 years and then you're expected to go to college right after that. And I wanted to get out and see the world.
There's a mountain we are climbing. The teenagers signed up with Camp Kivu, a Colorado-based Christian organization that encourages students to take a year off of school in between high school and college. This gap year trend is growing in America. In fact, Harvard, Yale, and Princeton are among the champions of these experiences. Luke Parrott directs Camp Kivu's program.
We tell students you're making an investment for a year that's going to last a lifetime in reward.
6 adventures, 6 countries, 3 continents. And it all starts with Orientation Week.
Sitting in this little valley in between 2 mountains with a river running through it. They're taken to all different corners of southwest Colorado and the beautiful San Juan Mountains just to backpack, to rock climb, to mountain bike. But in the mornings, we take them through a worldview curriculum.
More than 10,000 young people have enrolled in Camp Kivu since 1996.
We're trying to change an entire youth culture by offering them a chance to see the world in a different way, and really by teaching them how to follow Jesus and how to do that by loving God and loving others.
The gap year began for the girls on the streets of Denver. For nearly 3 months, they partnered with a Christian ministry, teaching at-risk students and reaching those on the margins of society. All 3 faced resistance at home about taking the year off.
I was rolling through the motions of life, like there was nothing going on, and I wanted out of that. I wanted to be challenged.
That challenge came next in Haiti, where they worked with an organization feeding more than 8,000 school children each day. And in between visits to orphanages, food distribution, and medical outreaches, the 3 had plenty of other projects that kept them busy.
I think living in America, we live in a bubble, and so it's so hard to see what the real world is even like. But coming and discovering the world for myself has just shown me how big this world is and how big of a God we serve.
For the next few months, they traveled thousands of miles, stopping in the African countries of Rwanda and Tanzania, serving with local Christian partners all along the way.
We believe that when you take students to the margins of the world, you'll see God present the most. Our students are learners.
What does the proper adjective mean?
The classroom is the culture and the marginalized communities. Their professors are actually these people that they've come to serve.
They also had the chance to climb Kilimanjaro, Africa's highest mountain.
This is the night that we summit. How's everybody feeling?
Slightly terrified, actually.
Freaking out! Freaking out, man. I'm freaking out.
Reaching the 19,340-foot summit proved to be a spiritual experience for Kara.
While you're climbing it, you realize how small you are, and then you think about the God who created that mountain and how much bigger he is than that mountain, and how amazing it is that we get to serve a God that is limitless.
Their next destination, India, a bustling country with over 1 billion people and with extreme levels of poverty. All 3 said India was the hardest as they ministered among the poor. Lainey was especially moved by the perseverance of Indian Christians who routinely face persecution because of their faith.
I've always been in a shelter in America where freedom of religion just exists, and God took me in that moment. He grasped me and he humbled me and showed me that I should never take freedom of religion for granted again. One way to help that is...
And their final destination took them to remote Philippine villages where the girls taught on health and wellness programs. It began almost 8 months ago on the streets of Denver, Colorado. From there, the girls went to Haiti, Rwanda, Tanzania, India, and finally here to the villages of Philippines, where folks use a half basketball to fetch water in a well. For the girls, it's been a life-changing experience, an opportunity to understand the depth of God's love for them, but also for the people who have never heard the name of Jesus Christ.
The last 8 months on Gap Year has brought me closer to God because I've seen him work in my life and work in others' lives so clearly.
Never once in the Bible does it talk about an ordinary life. Being a living sacrifice is messy, it's hard, it's dirty.
I want people to experience the same joy and the same compassion that I've learned throughout this gap year, I want them to experience the same thing.
Their gap year ended recently with a graduation ceremony back in Colorado. All three start college in a few weeks. George Thomas, CBN News, Bacolod, Philippines.
Wish them God's best. Well, up next, how a scavenger hunt led to an unexpected reunion and some very happy kids.
Stop struggling with heavy hoses that are kinked and deliver little or no water, or worse, break. Introducing the incredible flexible hose. Turn the water on and it expands up to 3 times its original length, so you can easily guide it anywhere you need without tangling. When you turn the water off, as it drains, the hose retracts back to its original shape. Standard rubber hoses can weigh between 8 and 12 pounds, but a 25-foot flexible hose weighs less than a pound. The flexible hose is so compact and lightweight, a child can manage a 75-foot hose easily. The flexible hose will never kink and is guaranteed to take the mess out of watering your lawn and plants. So washing your windows or spraying off your gutters has never been easier. The flexible hose is made of a tough double wall construction that is designed to bend and stretch but never kink.
Flexible hose is designed like a fire hose for speed, storage, and strength to last a really long time.
Call or visit flexiblehose.com to order the incredible flexible hose for only $19.95. Call right now and we will include a 7-way adjustable spray nozzle free. You can choose a full action spray, a gentle mist, a powerful jet, a vertical mist, flat spray, a cone spray, or a soaker setting. So stop coiling your hose with bulky devices. Flexible hose automatically retracts in seconds and weighs less than 1 pound. In fact, a 75-foot hose easily fits in a small bucket and stores away neatly in a drawer. Flexible hose saves you precious space on boats and is perfectly portable for RVs. But wait, order today and we'll give you a second flexible hose system free. Just pay separate processing and handling. That's 2 flexible hoses and 2 7-way adjustable spray nozzles, a $40 value, all for only $19.95. This offer is not available in any store. Order now.
To order flexible hose and take advantage of this amazing double offer, call 1-800-769-3384 or go to flexiblehose.com. Remember, this offer is not available in stores, so call now.
A military mom of 4 recently helped her children follow a very special treasure map.
The prize at the end, their dad hiding where X marks the spot. John Foster had been scheduled to come home from Afghanistan this coming fall, but a change of plans opened the door for a surprise. And that's when John's wife, Amber, planned a big scavenger hunt for their kids.
Where's the big treasure box, Mommy?
Daddy's. What does it say? Home.
It's breathtaking.
Aw, gives you chills. While deployed, John was able to Skype in for the birth of his youngest son, Nolan. His wife says going through labor without him was hard. It's great to see them all reunited there.
Yes, our hats off to them and other military families.
Yeah.
And that is all for this edition of NewsWatch.
Remember, you can email us your comments and questions at newswatch@cbn.com. Love to hear from you. Hope you'll join us next time.